Okay, Woody from Trail Wisdom one more time. I thought I was done for the day, but I saw another example that I wanted to highlight and showcase and broadcast. So as you can see, this is a Forest Service road. I don't know the number of this road, but it leads all the way back to a gate at Phil's Trailhead. This has always been an open road for as long as I've been kicking around these parts, which is about 20 years now. I have certainly used this road often as part of a mountain bike ride for a range of different reasons. One, just to create more loop opportunities. During that first year of COVID, we were really encouraging people to, not necessarily use trails, but get out and use roads because you would see less people. And of course, a road is going to provide a wider stance and allow two users to pass each other. That was during the early parts of COVID when we, really didn't know much, and everyone was just taking, extra caution. Looking back, I'm looking towards the east, towards town. Tethero would be just up and over that far hill that we can see. And there's a special riding area known as the Lair, which is back behind us as well. Some people do drive into the Lair. The Lair is kind of in the middle of a trail system, so a lot of people just incorporate it into a ride. But other people, are just going to ride the Lair. They just want to go and jump. But as you can see, this is still very much a functioning Forest Service road. It's at its normal width. It's a road until we get to this point. And the road just arbitrarily ends. And the obliteration picks up at this arbitrary point, not back at a junction, but just at this arbitrary point. And as you can see, there was no real cul-de-sac, no real thought process in terms of if people are driving the road back behind me, which again, historically, that gate is open. If they're driving this road and they want to say, hey, where does this road go? They get to this point and boom, there's no more road. You can see that users have created their own turnaround point right here. That's questionable as to whether that's the best way for these things to happen. But yeah, there was no, there's just no turnaround. It's a road back in this direction, and then all of a sudden it's not a road. And as we have showcased earlier, because this was recreationally used as a corridor to connect to other trails, again, that social trail is developing in the old road corridor, and I am not at all surprised. And here's one of the problems, because these can't be maintained. So where my bike is leaning, I didn't know that this was going to end, so I'm out just exploring. Because we can't maintain this, a tree falls across it. Legally, technically, we cannot cut that out. And so what happens is a new trail forms, and that's what we see here, is an additional social trail. And so that only is increasing the impact. So the concept of decreasing impact is a bit of a false narrative. The reality is that, if we don't do formal road to trail conversions for a long period of time, people are going to figure out or in their minds where the best place to be on the old roadbed is. And so we see, sort of a braiding effect of people moving around and, taking one trail, and then somebody else, takes another one in that old road corridor because they're trying to connect up things that are in their heads. And so that's what we see here. This is getting a fair bit of use, particularly with Tethero back behind us. This is one of the, this is an access point for Tethero folks to get into the main trail system. Ahead, we do see what I very distinctively remember is an old road crossing. And the trail that we're getting ready to cross over is Marvin's Garden. From the right, that will be heading to the north and towards Phil's Trailhead. and then heading in this direction would be heading towards Century Drive. So I would say to the south. And we see again, this road continued. The obliteration through here was extremely light. You know, it's just kind of a brush pull. They didn't do a lot in the way of scarification. And this trail, social trail that we see, my guess is that it connects all the way back to where I was earlier in one of the videos that I made earlier. That's my guess, is that it continues all the way back to that location. So I'm not a bit surprised that social trail is developing in these old road corridors that the Forest Service is trying to remove. Again, that is a social sustainability issue. And if we don't factor in social sustainability, we're going to fail in other regards. So, all right, thanks for listening. Hope everyone has learned a lot through this series of videos and lessons.